Hi, welcome to Devlog 1 for Mountain Clammer. I guess in reality it's more like Devlog 3, but this is the first video with actual progress since the original game jam. I've been trying to make this video for about 5 months now, and life has just kept kinda getting in the way. It was actually 100% complete a couple of months ago, but it didn't live up to my standards and I felt like it was a poor example of my work. Since then, I've moved, had to do a ton of renovations, started a new job, and found plenty of other distractions in my life, but here we are, back with the devlog. So, moral of the story? The path forward is never easy, just like in Mountain Clammer. There's a lot of stuff I'm really excited to show off, so let's get into it. For this project, I'm working on taking a game jam game made in just a week and polishing it into a real finished game. There's plenty to work on to make this happen, from visuals to sound, gameplay to level design, menus to even a Steam page, and more. But all that will come in due time. For this devlog, I mainly want to address visuals. The biggest change being, we are going full pixel art. No more cubist nightmares. And we begin with a tile set. There's still room for improvement, but I like the direction this is heading in way better. I'll be going back and making small adjustments to the tile set over time, but at least for me, I prefer to tweak already existing art into its final form rather than start over each time until it's good enough. Also, hopefully I learn more and get better at making art and tile sets by the time the game is actually done. Surprisingly, mapping these tiles over my old geometry was really easy, and using Unity's tile map system has been fairly painless. I know Unity has a tool that allows you to draw over the screen and have the engine auto-populate tiles for you, but if making a devlog more than once every 6 months is too hard for me, do you really think I'd go out of my way to learn a new tool for this? Anyway, we're making good progress. I'm splitting up the map for Mountain Clammer into 4 very different zones. They'll each have unique challenges, themes, and aesthetics, all while being based on different parts of the ocean. The one featured in this devlog is the ocean floor. There will also be zones for the deep ocean, open ocean, and a coral reef. And if you happen to be a marine biologist watching Unity devlogs, please help me with the proper names for these, I do not know them. Before I start on the other zones, I want to get a really solid vertical slice of the beginning of the game fully completed. Basically just meaning that I'm going for quality over quantity. There's one more big visual update I've made for this devlog, but I'm too proud of it to introduce it plainly. Oh, that's better. Welcome to Little Man in a Big Ocean, a segment I'm going to have in every Mountain Clammer devlog. In this segment, I'll be featuring a new background sea creature that I've made. And for this first installment, we have the garden eel. Garden eels are really silly animals, and I like them a lot. They live in little holes in the sand and form these clusters that almost look like underwater wheat fields. They're very shy, and I really love the ones that Monster Hunter World has. Or at least the creatures based on garden eels in Monster Hunter World. Mountain Clammer's garden eels will slunk back into safety if you get too close, but love to wiggle around when no one is watching. To make it, I started by getting just the motion right with 2 alternating points, which I then fleshed out into a simple worm-eel shape, and then I finished up by adding details, patterns, coloring, and fine-tuning some of the animation and timing. I also wanted to get a nice background for the ocean in this video, so I spent quite a bit of time trying to mock up a distant ocean background, and, well, it looks terrible. So, I'll hold off on this for now, I'll take my L, and I will come back to this later. But what good is having all these new art assets if you can't actually see them? Which is why I spent another good chunk of time working on the camera. Making sure motion is clear will be very important for this game. It's hard enough to control the clam as is, and I don't want the player to be frustrated by a bad camera. When some of my friends tried the Game Jam version, there were points when they couldn't see where to go next. To get rid of this problem, I'm removing the script that would jump the camera to the next area as you got higher and higher. Glad I can get rid of this thing. Ugh. Now, the camera just follows along, parented to the clam. I also decided to freeze movement on the x-axis to constrict the horizontal size each area could be. This keeps my workload smaller and minimizes the amount of camera motion. I might widen certain parts of harder zones or maybe add secrets where the camera can jut off to the side, but we'll figure out all that later. Some other things I tried to get done for this devlog were getting the clam to face the tongue, which resulted in this nauseating mess. Everything I tried to fix this resulted in the clam sagging when it was grabbing something. I think it had something to do with the game not knowing which way up was anymore. But anyway, I decided to scrap this idea for now and come back to it later. But it did give me some good ideas for having a parallaxing foreground and background, and I think it'll lead to some cool visual things. I got collision noises working again, which were not working for whatever reason, and I turned off post-processing because I just don't need to look at that while I'm working on the game. I also started adjusting assets and settings to give the game a consistent pixel size. Everything was selected randomly before, so this will gradually transition into looking a lot better. And I'm also working on a pixelated trail renderer for the clam and particle effects. Finally, last but not least, I added some simple aquatic plants to give the map some color. So far, we've made some good progress, and the game is looking much better. In the near future, I'll be doing even more with the visuals, updating and fine-tuning things, and once we move past that, I can work on the gameplay and level design. If you've gotten this far in the video, consider subscribing so you can catch the next one, and it also, encourages me to keep working on these projects even when life gets in the way. Thank you so much to the people who leave comments. They're genuinely so helpful for my motivation, and they do get me to come back even when I take super long breaks. Again, thank you for watching. I'm Cornboy, and I'll catch you in the next one.